Lin Xiaotian, stayed up late in my rental house to play mobile games yesterday, fantasizing about becoming a big shot and conquering the world. As a result, when I woke up, everything changed. In front of me, it was not my old bed, but a broken thatched hut with wind at the top of the house, and the chickens were barking outside, and the air was full of earthy smell. I lowered my head and saw that I was wearing a coarse cloth, which was torn like a beggar, and my hands were still full of old tricks. What's the situation? Is this time traveling? My brain buzzed, and Lima got up and pushed the door open. There was a deserted field outside. A large block was carrying a leash and shouting to me, "Xiaotian, why are you stunned? If you don't live, you will have to get tired again today." This big block is called Anyo, who is my body's brother. His brain is not very spiritual, but he is too powerful. My brain was still in a state of turmoil, and replied subtly, "Why are you tired of? I will bring you delicious food today." Anyo was stunned and slapped his head. "What's wrong with you? You're being possessed by evil? The grass roots in our area are almost dug up, so how about you and drink spicy food?" I ignored him and squatted down and looked at the broken field in front of me, wondering in my heart, how can I see this place be destroyed? There are only wild grasses in the fields, and there are not many weeds. How can I get something? But at this moment, my brain suddenly dinks sound, like the game system is online, and a line of words appears later. "Congratulations to the host for activating the God-level field skills, the crops are mature in 3 days, and the land improvement function has been activated." My eyes were glaring. Isn't this my golden finger? God is always good to me. I tried to open this so-called system with my mind and found that there was a novice task inside: plant a basic herb, and you can harvest rare materials in 3 days and complete the mission reward of 100 gold coins. Grass medicine? Rare materials? This is a rhythm of money. I was excited in my heart and asked Anyo, "Do we have seeds?" Anyo was confused. "Seeds? There are some broken grass seeds, but if that thing continues to grow, it will be useless. What's the waste? Bring it." I didn't say anything, and took a handful of dry seeds in his hand and scattered them into the field. The system prompted me to use my skills to speed up growth. When I closed my eyes and thought, I felt a heat flowing from my palm to the land. The soil in the field seemed to have come alive, and a little green light was emitted. Anyo was stunned. "Xiaotian, what are you doing? Why did you get rid of it? What kind of evil is this?" "You are so evil, this is my own skill. You will know that it's hurt in a few days." I clapped my hands and felt full of confidence. The system says that 3 days of maturity, so let's wait 3 days to see what's the point of making it. During these 3 days, Anyo and I were not idle. We cleaned up the fields and repaired the broken thatched hut. After all, we had to have a similar hamlet after we had made a fortune. Although Anyo didn't believe in my evil, he was still helping him, muttering, "Don't just useless things, we really have no food." 3 days passed in a flash, and it was time to harvest, and I pulled Anyo to the field early in the morning. When I saw it, I was stunned. The field is full of herbs that are tall, the leaves are green, and there is still a fragrance in the air, which can be heard from afar. I picked one of them at hand, and the system prompted. I detected the rare herb green grass, which can be used as a high-level drug, and the market price is 5 gold coins per plant. 5 gold coins per plant? I calculated in my mind, there were few hundred trees in this place, so how many 100 gold coins are there? In this place where birds don't poop, ordinary people earn less than 10 gold coins a year. I will fly directly in this wave. Anyo was also stunned and said in a daze, "Oda, how did this come out? Can you really sell money? What are you selling?" "Of course you sell. Let's go to the town." I was so excited that Lima and Anyo cut off all the herbs, tied them into several large bundles, and carried them to the town. The town was very popular, and the streets were covered with small huts, and the sounds of selling were heard one after another. I found a medicine pot, put the green grass in front of the boss, and said with a smile, "Boss, look at this goods, how is it?" The boss was a middle-aged man with a sharp-mouthed monkey cheek. After glanced at him, Lima's eyes lit up. Oh, is this a green grass? How good is it? Don't ask the way, tell me the price. I dressed like an old man, and I was so nervous. How could I make the price of this price? The boss touched his chin and tried to find out, what's the case with a 4 gold coin? 4 gold coins? Are you stupid? This is a rare commodity, less than 5 gold coins. I gritted my teeth and put on a tough temper, and I was actually panicked. The boss hesitated and finally pointed, okay, 5 gold coins, the deal. I'll pay you this. After a while, I got a few hundred gold coins. I felt so happy with the heavy money bag. Anyo next to him had his eyes straightened, and he swallowed his saliva and said, Xiaotian, are we really getting money? What's the bun? I'll take you to eat big fish and meat when I go back. I patted his shoulder, thinking about how to expand the scale next, to make more herbs, and to make more money. But the good times didn't last long, and this incident was soon revealed. People in the town started discussing the fight, saying that Lin Xiaotian left the dog shit, produced baby grass medicine, and became rich overnight. Several veterans in the village also came and said sourly, Oda, don't forget the country's relatives after you have made a fortune and give them some redemptions. My heart rolled my eyes, and I was red. Think beautifully. But he still smiled and said, Uncle, don't worry, I'll make another note, please eat well. As soon as this was said, everyone was happy on the surface, but I clearly saw several people with distorted eyes, jealousy and greed. My heart skipped a beat and I felt that things were not that simple. Sure enough, in less than 2 days, the trouble came to the door. That day, Anyo and I were calculating the next batch of things in the field. Suddenly, we heard a sound of horse hooves, and then a group of people rushed over. The head was a young man wearing a beautiful woman with nostrils facing the sky and disdainful faces. There were several servants wearing armor behind her, and it was obvious that she was not a good person. Who is Lin Xiaotian? Let me stand up. The young man got off the horse and pointed at me with a whip. His temperament was like a prisoner. My heart sank, but my face was not full of voice. I smiled and said, I am Lin Xiaotian. What's wrong with this young man? He snorted coldly and looked at me up and down. I heard that you have produced some rare herbs, and I have earned a lot. Humph, I am Carl Xiao. This piece of land belongs to our family. What are you swearing on it? I know, hand over the land tightly, otherwise it will look good as you. I became angry as soon as I heard this. What kind of debauchery is going to snatch my ground? But I looked at the few servants behind him. The knife in my hand was dazzling. I knew it would be impossible to come. As soon as my brain turned, Lima changed his smile and said, Sister Carl, I misunderstood. I actually rented this place. How could I say it was yours? Besides, it's not worth a lot of money for my sucking medicine. You don't have to argue with me like a little man, right? Carl's face turned darker after hearing it. Stop talking. You sold several hundred gold coins of this broken grass medicine, and you still dare to say it's not worth it? If you don't hand over the land today, I will let someone burn your broken land. As soon as this happened, Lima, the servant behind him, pulled out the knife and wanted to move. Anyo's face turned pale and said to me in a low voice, Oda, why don't we think so? This is not easy to mess with. What are you thinking about? I have a way. I replied to him in a low voice, and my brain flew quickly. It is definitely not possible to fight hard, but I also have system skills. Yesterday I found that there was a special crop option in the system, and there was a poisonous weed called bone-eating vine. Although it was not economically valuable, it could release poisonous air and make people dazzled. It lasted for half a time, and it was just right to use it to bluff people. I pretended to be low and agreed, and said in a speech, Carl, okay, I can hand over the land, but you have to let me collect the last batch of herbs in the field, otherwise I really have no way to survive. Carl Xiaowei sneered, Humph, you know what you know, hurry up and don't play with it. I clicked the head, turned around and pretended to go to the field to have fun, and actually secretly used the system skills to create a small piece of bone-eating vine, and then used my mind to ripen. In less than a minute, a black-green vine grew from the field, and it seemed to swell. I pretended to be surprised and shouted, "Hey, what's this thing? Why did it suddenly grow out?" Carl Xiao walked over impatiently and glanced at him. "What a broken grass, it's tightly pulled." But as soon as he said, the bone-eating vine suddenly emitted a faint black fog, and the person he heard was lying on his head. Carl Xiao was holding his head and covered his brain and said, What is this? Who fucked it?" I tightly dressed up and said, "Xiao, I don't know either. This grass seems to be poisonous, why don't you back first and I'll deal with it?" The servants behind him also began to fall and retreat with their heads. Carl Xiao's face was blue and gritted his teeth and stared at me. "Lin Xiaotian, do you dare to ward me? Wait, I won't let you go." After saying that, he stumbled and ran away with the man, and even he was almost unstable. I looked at their wolfish backs and felt so happy. Anyo was stunned by the sight of the side, and after a long time he put on a sentence, "Xiaotian, why are you so ox? Even Care dares to play with him? What awesome, that's the beginning." I grinned and knew in my heart that this beam was finally settled. Carl Xiaowei will definitely not be good at silence. I have to try to make myself stronger, otherwise he will come back next time, but it will not be so easy to mess with. Just as I was thinking, I suddenly heard a low smile coming from the field. When I turned my head, I saw an old man wearing a ragged cloak, leaning on a cane, staring at me with a pair of sluggish eyes. I was stunned for a moment, and looked at the old man in a torn cloak in front of me, and I felt murmur in my heart. When did this guy come out? Why didn't I see a figure just now when Carl and I were flirting with each other? And what does he mean? What does hide a lot of secrets mean? I looked at his old face full of wrinkles and tried to ask, "Boss, who are you? How do you know that there is a secret here?" The old man smiled, passed his crutch on the ground, and said slowly, "Don't be nervous, young man, my name is Mo Lao Tzu. I've been passing here. I saw that you were quite interesting just now, and I couldn't help but look at it twice. You are not ordinary land, there is something hidden underneath. You may not have discovered it yet, right? Hide something?" I browed and half believed and half doubted. This old man is talking in a sensible way. Who knows if it is really informative or is it fooling around? But I looked at his eyes, and although it was so terrible that I could see through people, my heart couldn't help but feel a little wet. I cleared my throat and said indifferently, "Boss, don't fool me. This is an ordinary land, what can I hide? If you have nothing to do, let's stop chatting, I still have to do it." Old Mo heard it and was not angry. He just grinned and pointed at the corner of my field. "Don't believe it? Then go dig there and see, it's awesome." My old man doesn't say anything. After saying that, he turned around and left slowly without waiting for me to reply, his cloak swaying like a ghostly shadow. I stood there, my brain was a little chaotic. Anyo came over beside him and said in a low voice, "Oda, this old man is not a scammer, right? Don't listen to him. What if he digs out a broken mess? What should he do if he is in a time of delay? I'm not a chaotic person, let's take a look first." I gritted my teeth, and I was actually not sure, but Lao Mona heard too evilly, and I couldn't help but want to try it. What's the good thing about Wani? So Inu and I took the head and walked to the corner where he pointed, and began to dig it up. This place is the edge of the field. I didn't pay much attention to it. The soil was hard and it was so sore after digging it for a few times. Anyo didn't have much pressure, and he swung his head and was like playing, and he dug a big hole in a short while. I was about to dig deeper, but suddenly I heard a click sound, and it seemed that I had encountered something hard on my head. I felt excited in my heart, and I slid open the soil. When I looked down, I saw that there were black stone slabs with some unintelligible runes engraved on them, and there was a little dark red light on the corners. Collection, what is this? My eyes were rounded and I reached out to touch it, but when I touched the stone slab, my fingers seemed to be hit by electricity. It numbed for a moment, and it shrank back. Anyo was also shocked and said, "Xiaotian, look at the evil gate, shouldn't we touch this thing? Evil fart, this is definitely a treasure." I felt so excited in my heart. Although I don't know what this stone slab is, looking at this frame, it must be non-touching with ordinary things. As soon as my brain turned, Lima thought of the system, closed his eyes and checked it with his mind, and the system indeed gave a prompt. Did you activate the exploration mode when you detected the magic trap entrance? Magic sensation? I almost shouted, my brain buzzing. Isn't this the saying that there is nothing to have as much wealth and power? God, you've always acted ruthlessly on me. I didn't say anything, Lima silently said in his heart, activate. With my voice, the runes on the stone slab suddenly lit up, and the dark red light became stronger and stronger. Then the sound of the entire stone slab sank, revealing a dark hole, with a cold wind blowing out, bringing a strange smell that cannot be described. Anyo was shocked and took a two-step back, tremblingly said, Xiaotian, what's the hell is this? We really want to go down? What if there are monsters? What are you afraid of? I'm here. I felt a little nervous when I said, but I felt a little nervous when I felt this opportunity in front of me. How could I let it go? I gritted my teeth, took a torch from home, and after clicking it, I took Anyo to the hole. The entrance of the cave is not big, and it is hard to pass by people. There are narrow stone paths inside, and the walls are full of strange carvings, which look like some ancient figures. The firelight shook, the shadows were quaint, and it was surprising. After leaving no farther away, a large stone chamber suddenly opened in front of him, with an old stone platform in the center, with a crystal stone as big as a fist, emitting a dark blue light. Just as I was about to get closer, my ears suddenly heard Laomo's voice again, young man, don't be upset, that thing is not something you can touch now. I was shocked and turned around and saw that Laomo didn't know when he appeared in the corner of the stone chamber, and was still in the broken cloak, smiling like an old fox. I said with no pride, boss, why are you like a ghost? Why are you coming out again? Also, do you know what is this place? Laomo walked over slowly, looked at the crystal, and pointed out, this is an ancient magic trick. A few hundred years ago, this was a test site for a great magician, with many good things hidden. However, these things are not something you can take without a single shot. You have to pass the test to gain strength. That crystal is the key to the first priority, but your current ability is still far from it. Try it. What kind of trick? I heard the fun and my eyes lit up. Laomo smiled, stretched out his thin fingers, and looked at the crystal stone. He saw the sound of the crystal stone buzzing, and the blue light was soaring. Then there was a sudden message in my brain, complete the first trial of the genitals, activate the primary magic power, and reward the evolution of the skill of the field. The evolution of Xiaotian skills? I was shocked. Isn't this what I want most? Laomo looked at me and said slowly, the test is very simple. There are 3 hidden magical ambients around this stone chamber. You have to find and activate them to unlock the power of the crystal stones. However, I can remind you that these magical ambients are not simple, and you will suffer from injury if you do not do it. Do you want to try it? Try it. Of course. I gritted my teeth and lit up, my heart was already ignited. What's the point of being injured? In order to make money, to reverse the situation, I fought hard. Laomo didn't bother me, but just slapped my head and retreated to the side, muttering in his mouth, young man, have courage, I hope you don't regret it. In the next time, Anyo and I started looking for the so-called magical scenes in the stone chamber. This place is not big, but the walls and the ground are full of messy runes, which makes people confused. After a long break, I finally found 3 hidden magical ambients in 3 corners of the stone chamber, each of which emitted a faint light. I followed Laomo's instructions and pressed my palm on the air method, injecting a little thought. Sure enough, every air method buzzed, as if it was ignited. When the 3rd magic rune was activated, the entire stone chamber suddenly shook, and the crystal stone burst out with a strong blue light, shining directly on me. I could only feel a heat flow from the top to the bottom of my foot, and the body seemed to be filled with electricity. The system in my brain also dinks, congratulations to the host for completing the preliminary test, evolving the field skills, unlocking the new function planting of magic materials, and creating rare crops that can make magic props. Crockett, magic props and materials? My eyes were red. If this thing was produced and sold to the market, how much gold would it cost? This wave is stable. Laoamo looked at me and pointed, "No, young man, the energy is very good. This strength is a big opportunity for you. However, there are still many secrets of tragedy. This is the beginning, so you have to be careful in the future." I was about to ask a few more words when I suddenly heard a noise outside the stone room, followed by Anyo's surprise, "Oda, it's a bad thing." There were people coming outside, like Carl's helper. "What? Is this Saku's here again?" My heart sank, and I stood out of the stone chamber. Sure enough, I saw a group of people standing on the field. Carl Show was leading, and there were a few hooligans who didn't look like good people. They were dressed in a mess, holding sticks and iron forks in their hands, pointing at my field. When Carl came out when he saw me, Lima sneered, "Lin Xiaotian, I haven't seen it for a few days, my treacherous swears. Last time I dared to despise me, today I brought someone to give you some color. Brothers, smash it for me and destroy all this broken field." As soon as the gangster heard that the Lenema came over, he smashed the stick into my field. The batch of grass seedlings that had just grown were trampled to pieces. I was furious in my heart, and I gritted my teeth and said, "Sir Carl, are you sick? I have no grudges against you, why do you have to mess with me? No worries or revenge? Humph, you are a devil, why should you make so much money? This place belongs to mine, and the money must be mine." Carl's face turned aside, not taking me at all. Seeing the fields getting hit harder and more, Anyo stomped his feet in a hurry and said to me in a low voice, "Xiaotian, what should I do? We can't beat them. I have to do it if I can't beat it." I gritted my teeth and turned my brain. Lima thought of the magic material implant function that was just unblocked. There is a crop called Thunder Thorn in the system. Although it is a material, it can release a small range of thunder and electricity after maturity, which is better for self-defense. I used my mind to ripen a small piece of the field, and my eyes closed and ripened. After a few seconds, a thorn with an arc emerged, clattering in the crackling area, which looked very intimidating. "Raise me!" I shouted and controlled the thorn to sweep towards the helping gangster. Those guys had never seen this thing, and they screamed in surprise. Several of them were hit and twitched directly, and the rest also crawled and ran away. Carl Xiaowei stood behind, his face green, and gritted his teeth and said, "Lin Xiaotian, are you playing with flowers again? What the hell is this? Ghost thing? This is my trump card." I sneered, pretending to ripen another thorn inadvertently, and approached his foot. Carlzy was so scared that he took a few steps back, pointing at me and shouting, You wait for me, this is not over. I will make you regret it." After saying that, he ran away with the remaining humans and wolves, without even the sticks on the ground. I looked at their backs and finally relaxed my voice. I turned around and grinned at Anyo, "What's the case? Is this my hand?" Anyo worshipped her face and looked like garlic. "Xiaotian, why are you getting more and more awesome? How did this thorn grow like magic?" "Don't ask, it's a gift." I laughed and knew in my heart that this was just the beginning. The power of the savage was only unraveled, and there must be greater surprise waiting for me later. And Ka Xiao, who is like this, will probably be troublesome. I have to seize the time to expand the farm and improve my skills so that I will not be attacked by him again next time. At this time, Laoamo came out again at some point, stood by the field, and looked at me with a smile. "Young man, you're having sex. However, this is not so simple, there are still many trials waiting for you. You have to prepare well and don't accidentally fall in love." I clicked my head and a fire ignited in my heart. What about trying to do it? I want to be the richest man in the mainland. What is this little difficulty? Next, I have to build the farm and make more money first, and then go back to the bottom line. Carl Xiao, please wait for me. Next time, I will come, my brother will make you kneel down and shout. In the next few days, Anyo and I were not idle. While Carlsy had not yet brought back the land, we kept making the farm look stylish. With the new function of magic material planting, I directly created a large area of thunder thorns around the field. Not only can I defend myself, but I also earn a lot of money when I sell it. The system also prompts that this thing can be used as a primary magic prop, and can be sold for more than 10 gold coins in a small bundle. My eyes are almost smiling like a piece of tea. Ain't you, our farm is all right. I patted his shoulder and looked at the thorns in the field with an electric arc. My heart was so beautiful that I bubbling. Anyo slapped his head and asked foolishly, Oda, can this thing really sell money? Looking at it, who dares to buy it? Who bought it? Of course it's those adventurers and magicians. I smiled and started trading in my brain to make a big deal. I heard from the owners of the town that there are many magic guilds and adventure groups in the mainland, and they specially collect this rare material, and the price is very high. If I could get on the line, don't say Carl's little, I wouldn't care about the entire precious circle. I just said it, and I cut a batch of thunder thorns, cleaned it up, and took Anyo straight to the largest magic material dealer in the town, Black Iron's Roll. This place is not comparable to ordinary medicine materials. There are 2 guards with big waists standing at the door. Those who come in are either magicians wearing long robes or adventurers full of armor. At first glance, it is not something that I, like the countryman, can enter in a casual manner. I walked over with my head. Shua glanced at me, and said with a brow, Where are you from? You can't get into this place, you can't get into it. My heart was so angry, but I still smiled. Brother, I've misunderstood. I'm here to sell materials. This is a rare product. Don't you look at it? As I said, I took out a small bunch of thunder thorns in the package, and the arcs crackled in the crackle, guarding my eyes straightened. Is this thunderbolt? Another guard came over and said in surprise, It's hard to find this thing. How did you get it? Don't ask the way, there is a way. I dressed mysteriously and had flowers bloomed in my heart. Sure enough, this helper heard that it was a good deal, and his attitude changed, and he forced me to come in to see the boss. The boss is a short and chunky middle-aged man with a big beard and looks quite smart. He took the thorn, took a closer look, and pointed at it. The quality is good, it is indeed a high-quality goods. I have accepted all of them for a bunch of 15 gold coins. How about it? 15 gold coins? I thought it was much more expensive than herbs, so I immediately decided, trade. Boss, we will often cooperate in the future, and I still have a lot of goods here. Boss Beard grinned and said, Hello, brothers have a way, we will become friends in the future. I will be in line with you. There is no supply of materials now. If you can get more, the price will increase again. As soon as I heard this, my eyes lit up. Lima and Aniu returned home and began to plant thunder thorns. The system skills are awesome, and they mature every 3 days. Aniu and I are as busy as a top. The fields are 3 times larger, and the materials are piled up like small hills. In less than half a month, I made a fortune through this business, and my reputation was also revealed. People from all over the big cities outside the town came to me to buy goods. Anime, we're really flying. I was counting money bags, my mouth almost grinning to the ears. Anyo smiled foolishly and muttered, Xiaotian, when will we buy a big house? This broken thatched hut is almost collapsed. What's the house? I'll give you a whole park in the future. I snatched my hands proudly, and my heart began to calculate how to make the business go up. However, it didn't take long for a good day, and the trouble came to the door again. That day I was working in the field when I suddenly heard a sound of horse hooves coming from afar, and there were still many people who were fighting. My heart skipped a beat, and Lima shouted, Anyo, hurry up, go and see who is here, don't be Carl again. Anyo ran over and glanced at him, and his face turned pale. Oda, it's not good. It's Carl's young man, who also brought a lot of helpers, and there were also a few dressed like a noble family, which didn't look easy to mess with. Prince? More than one? I glanced at the front of me, and Lemma rushed to the field and saw that, sure enough, Carl's face was on the line, and there were 3 or 4 young men wearing beautiful clothes, with nostrils facing the sky, followed by a group of servants and hiring soldiers. There were 20 or 30 people, which made my field flow out. Carl Xiao saw me, and Lima sneered, and immediately pointed at me and shouted, "Lin Xiaotian, you guy is very proud recently. He has heard a lot of money, and he has also made his business to the big city? Humph, today I brought a few valuable friends to give you the last chance to hand over the secrets of the fields and the sacred world, otherwise don't blame us for being rude." The secret of the misfortune? I was shocked. How did this Shuazi know about the misfortune? Is it hard to tell if someone is leaking the sound? But I didn't look loud and said blankly, "Carl Xiao, what are you talking about? I'm just an ordinary field, where's the secret? Don't listen to people talking nonsense." A noble clan in a red robe snorted coldly and opened his mouth, "Put down on garlic. We have checked. There is something strange under the ground here. Recently, you have made a lot of rare materials. It is obvious that you have got some treasures. Lin Xiaotian, nose it and hand over the brim entrance. Otherwise, we will join forces and let you have no waste left." As soon as this happened, several other precious tribes were struggling, their eyes full of greed. I was so sad that this helper clearly heard the sound and wanted to kill my things together. Carl Xiao was even more frustrated and shouted with a slap in his hand, "Brothers, don't talk to him, just smash him and force him to hand it over." Seeing the helping servant and the hiring soldiers coming, I gritted my teeth and felt calm. "Want to snatch my land? No door. But fighting hard is definitely not possible. There are many people on the other side. No matter how bad Aniu and I are, we can't beat so many people." As soon as my brain turned, I thought of what was inside the roaming, and turned to Anyo and said in a low voice, "Hold them down for a while, I'll go back." "What? Xiaotian, where are you going?" Aniu stomped his feet in a hurry, but I had no time to explain it. He hurriedly rushed to the shore entrance beside the field and drew in. The stone chamber was still the same, and the blue crystal stone was lying quietly on the stone platform, emitting a faint light. As soon as I came in, Laomo's voice sounded, "Young man, what's wrong? You're so anxious and confused outside?" "Boss, don't waste your time, help me." I gasped and said hurriedly, "There are a group of precious people outside who want to snatch my land and say that I have to hand over my secrets. I have to find something to deal with them. What else can I use in the snatch?" Old Mo grinned and said slowly, "What's the hurry? You can't take anything that's free. However, since you're in a hurry to use it, I can take you to unblock a good thing. Come with me." Speaking, he led me to the depths of the stone chamber, and a piece of silk suddenly broke out on the wall, revealing a deeper passage. I followed him in, and it was pitch black inside, with only the faint rune light on the wall. After walking far away, a huge stone door appeared in front of it, full of complex magical ambience, with a groove in the center, which looked like a keyhole. "What is this?" I couldn't help asking. Lao Mo smiled and said, "This is the second level of trial. By passing it, you can get a magical instrument. It is powerful and just helps you solve the troubles outside. However, trial is not simple. Do you know you want to try it? Try it. Must try." I gritted my teeth and pointed, and now I'm so angry that I'm still worried about the danger. Lao Mo pointed his head, reached out and pressed the stone door. The magic lighted up. Then my brain dinks and the system prompted, "The second level test opens. Mission, activate the 3-level magic boundary in the door. For a limited time, if the failure is for an hour, the failure will be backfired. Back off?" I burst into my heart, but I had no time to think about it, and the tiller rushed into the stone gate. There is a larger stone temple inside, with 3 magical boundary techniques in the center, each of which emits a different light, red like fire, blue like ice, and yellow like thunder, which looks not simple. I followed the system prompts to start an activation. The first red boundary is pretty good. I used the system skills to inject energy and barely support it. Although my body feels hot like a roast, I have calculated it. The second blue boundary was depressed. As soon as it was activated, my teeth were slashed. My hands and feet were almost unaware of them, so I forced them down with willpower. The last yellow boundary was even more deadly. The thunder and electricity made me feel numb and almost passed by. When the 3 boundaries were all lit up, I was so tired that I was as tired as a dog, and sweating profusely. But the system ding sound prompted the test to pass, and the qilong sound of the stone gate opened, revealing a magical instrument floating in the air, a metal circular plate as big as a palm, with runes engraved on the edge, emitting a sense of pressure. "What is this?" I gasped. Lao Mo said with a smile, "This is the Thunderstorm Magic Pan, a primary magic tool that can amplify the range of thunder attacks, which is a lot of money for those who help outside. However, using it will cost a lot of mental power, so you don't want to play." My eyes lit up, and I grabbed the magic plate. The system prompt was confirmed. With a little effort, I could feel a thunder and electricity gathering in my palm, which was so cool. I didn't say anything, and rushed out of the road and returned to the edge of the field. At this time, Carl Xiao and the others had almost smashed it. The thorns in the field were cut into pieces. Aniu was hiding beside him, his face helplessly. When Carl Xiao saw me coming out, Lima sneered, "Yi, Lin Xiaotian, dare to come back? Where did you hide? Tell you, if you don't hand over the hustle entrance today, don't want it here. Take it to you." I gritted my teeth and whispered, lifted the thunderstorm magic plate, pointed to the sky, and shouted, "I've all given me my opinion. Who dares to take another step and try the taste of this thing?" As the voice fell, I urged the magic plate, and a thunder and electricity force exploded instantly. With a rising sound in the air, several thick arcs slashed down, and several large pits were blown up directly on the field. The soil was flying, making the helper and the hiring soldiers so hard that they were all frightened. Carl's face turned pale and shouted, What is this? Why do you, a town, have magical tools? Middleman? I'm a countryman, and you can also make you kneel down and shout." I sneered and urged the magic plate. This time the lightning slashed directly at their feet. Several expensive clans were afraid to climb, and the hired soldiers fled and scattered. Carl's horse was so loud that it almost threw him off. "Lin Xiaotian, how dare you attack us? We are a noble family." The guy in red robe shouted in a slutty voice, but before he finished speaking, another thunder slashed over, and he was so electric that his hair was slapped and he closed his mouth with a whisper. "What's wrong with the new tribe? Can new tribes snatch people at will?" I approached step by step, and the magic plate was filled with lightning, full of energy. "I have remembered this today. If you dare to come and get upset again in the future, don't blame me for not being able to turn my face and not being able to recognize people." Crack! Carl's face was blue and gritted his teeth and stared at me. He didn't dare to say anything more. He ran away in shame with the man, and there was no weapon on the ground. The helping tribe was even more wolf-like, running around, but no one dared to turn around. Anyo was stunned, and after a long time returning to the god, he came over and worshipped. "Oda, why are you so fierce? Where's this thing? It's as if the gods came to earth. What kind of god is just a gadget?" I gasped and put away the magic plate, feeling very happy. This wave of facial hair is so simple that it doesn't feel too good. However, urging this method is really expensive, and my brain is buzzing. It is probably because my mental power is consumed too much and I have to calm down. Lao Mo came out again at some point and looked at me with a smile. "Young man, you're fucking beautifully. However, this magic plate is just a gadget in the air, and there are even more harmful things waiting for you behind it. Those rich people probably won't be good at ease. You have to seize the time and strengthen yourself, so as not to turn over until the time comes." I clicked my head and a fire ignited in my heart. What about the noble tribe? I have a strong and a system, so that you can all be low in the morning and evening. Next, I have to expand the farm first, make my business go up to the mainland, and then explore the depths of the road to see if there's anything else waiting for me. Carl Xiao, you just wait, my brother's backtrack has just begun. After a few months, my farm has transformed from the broken fields to the largest agricultural empire in 100 miles. Thunder thorns, green grass and various rare magic materials grew from the ground like money free, sold to magic guilds and adventure groups all over the country. The coins in hand were piled up into hills, and countless were coming. People in the town saw me and bowed at each other. The sour villagers, who were both old and sour, are now Boss Lin one by one, and their mouths are as sweet as if they are smearing honey. Aniu, how are we doing this? I sat in the newly built Dazhuang garden yard, drinking the fruit wine bought from Nishang, and looking at the green fields far away. I felt so satisfied. Anyo squatted aside, gnawing on the roasted chicken legs, his mouth full of greasy mouth, and said silly, Xiaotian, how is it? It's so beautiful, like a dream. We couldn't even eat buns before, but now we have big fish and meat every day, and this house is like a noble family. When my mother saw it, she said that I don't look like her son. I laughed and patted his shoulder. This is where I go. I will take you to the royal city in the future and let those noble tribes see what civilians are going against each other. While laughing, I suddenly heard a horse from the head outside the park, and the sound was quite quiet. I raised my eyebrows, stood up and looked out, and I saw a team of people parked at the door. The leaders were dressed in a very beautiful manner, with golden patterns on their bodies, and they were obviously a valuable person from the royal family. There were several magicians next to him, with badges hanging on their long robe, and they were very energetic. Yi, who is this? I felt happy in my heart, and I didn't look loud on the surface, and I took Anyo to greet me. The valuable man and the leader got off the horse and bowed to me, saying that he was very polite. Boss Lin, I have long admired my reputation. Here is Luoda, the Minister of Finance of the royal family. Today, he came on behalf of His Majesty the King of the Kingdom to discuss cooperation with you. Cooperate? I raised my eyebrows and pretended to be puzzled. Lord Luoda, we are a native of the field, how dare we get involved with the royal family? How can I not understand what you said? Minister Rhodes smiled like a flower, and he rushed, Boss Lin is so stupid. Your magic material business has been spread throughout the world, and even the magic guilds in the royal city cannot leave your supply. Your Majesty heard about you and was very happy. He sent me here specially, hoping to cooperate with you for a long time. Your materials are preferred to the royal army. The price is definitely satisfying you. I felt a little relieved in my heart, and my face was still lightly decorated. Oh? Did your Majesty hear me? That's a blessing. However, Lord Luoda, we have to talk about the rules in business and cooperate, but we have to explain the conditions first. Don't forget that I'll cry without even crying. Minister Rhodes was busy and took out a parchment with the terms and said with a smile, Boss Lin, don't worry, the conditions are clearly written. Every year, the royal family will purchase your materials twice the market price, and also give you an honorary title, which is a recognition of your contribution. What do you think? Double price? Honored title? My eyes lit up. This condition is not low. Although I had already had a happy mood, I still deliberately provoked my words. Well, I have to think about this matter. After all, I am the most fair in doing business. Lord Luoda, let's have a cup of tea first and chat slowly. Of course, Boss Lin. Minister Luoda's face was so charming and followed me into the garden with people. The helping magician also bowed his head and followed me, saying that I was young and very young and the wizard of the great in my mouth, so I almost got up. After seeing off the valuables in the royal family, I sat in the yard, holding the cooperation agreement, my mouth almost grinned to my ears. Anyo came over and asked foolishly, Oda, why are this helpers so polite to you? We had to hide from the precious tribe before, but why are you now? What's the opposite? This is called strength. I patted his brain and smiled, I'm the richest man in the mainland now. Who dares not give face? Even the royal family has to come to Ba. We'll be in a state of stability in this wave of rebellion. Just as I was so beautiful, a hunchbacked figure suddenly came from afar, and was still the broken cloak limping towards me. I was happy at first glance. Old Mo, why are you so ecstatic again? Why don't you say hello in advance? Old Mo smiled, sat down with a cane, looked at the agreement in my hand, and joked, "Young man, you're doing well, even the royal family is coming to lick you. However, what are you going to deal with the bad things? That place is not an ordinary treasure, and the hidden power is known to the royal family. Someone has long thought about it." As soon as I heard it, my heart sank. Lao Amo said it was right. Although I have always kept the secret of evil, I couldn't keep the paper from being so popular. The Karlshao has long suspected that the help of the noble clan has been growing. Now that the business is getting bigger, the voice must have been sent to the royal city. I lowered my head and thought about it. I raised my head and said, "Old Mo, I have an idea. This can't make people turbulent at will. The power inside is too strong. Once it is used by bad people, the consequences will be great. I plan to seal the entrance and set it into a forbidden area. Who doesn't want to go in? What's the case?" Lao Mo's eyes lit up and said, "It's good to have a brain. The power of the savage is not something that people can control now, so it's better to seal it up. However, you have to make this happen first so that no one will think about it. Tell the savage existence, but it's clear that whoever dares to come will have to pay the price. Open?" I was stunned and immediately pointed, "Okay, that's it. Let everyone know that this place belongs to mine. Who dares to move, I will make him look good." I just did it, and the next day I found the noticer in the town to make the miserable matter public. I stood in the center of the town, holding a loudspeaker, and shouted at several hundred people, "Dear towns, I heard it well. There is indeed a magical vestigation under my Lin Xiaotian, which hides a lot of ancient powers. But this place is so dangerous that not everyone can enter. From today on, I will set it up as a forbidden area. Whoever dares to be good at it, don't blame me for being rude. Of course, we are not a stingy person. People in the village will follow me and will not have to worry about food and drink in the future. Whoever wants to come will be a must-have for Red." As soon as this happened, the Rima below exploded. Some people were surprised, some were admired, and a few veterans had their eyes lit up, and Lima shouted, "Xiaotian, we're the one. Let's do it with you." I looked at the warmth below and felt happy. The public affairs are indeed effective, and no one dares to think about it anymore on the outline. However, the matter of public has been settled, and there is still no shortage of trouble. That day I was patrolling the field when I suddenly heard a noise. I turned my head and saw several ragged men wearing rag clothes outside the garden by my guardians, and they were still shouting, "Boss Lin, don't live. We are servants of Carl's young masters. He is now broken and owes a lot of debt. We have gone there without a single place. Please take it in. Is Carl Xiaowei broken?" I was stunned and walked over and saw that the servants were indeed Carl Xiaowei's subordinates, with a gray face and a hole in his shoes. I sneered, "Yeah, I wasn't quite a bit crazy at the beginning. How did I get this kind of thing? What happened to Carl's Seiko?" One of the servants looked bitterly and said, "Boss Lin, don't mention it. Since you were taught by you, the business at home has plummeted." He still didn't give up and borrowed a lot of money to make a purchase, but he finally paid all of them. Now that the boss is here every day, he sells all his houses, and he runs out of his whereabouts, and these servants are also suffering. After listening, I couldn't help laughing. Report. At the beginning, that Shuazi was so arrogant that she slammed my land and smashed my fields. Why didn't she lose now? Okay, I miss you so much, stay here to work, and give her a salary, but remember, don't play with me, otherwise you'll get rid of eggs. The servants hurriedly kowtowed and went to work in shame. I stood there, feeling so good. Carl Xiao, weren't you awesome at the beginning? Now it's a joke, it's up to you, how do you still fight me? In the next few months, the days were overwhelmed. Things that were forbidden across the world spread all over the world. Although some of the short-sighted guys still wanted to sneak in, they were all trapped by the thunder thorns and guardians I laid down, and none of them could succeed. The royal family's cooperation was officially signed, and the material business alone was full every year. I became the most wealthy businessman in the mainland, and I knew the reputation of several kingdoms next door. What's even more exciting is that I haven't forgotten the people in the village. The towns that I had suffered with at the beginning were now all brought to wealth by me. Every household has built new houses, and the village is built like a small town, and its name has been changed to Farmland New Village. I also paid for the money to build a school and a medical museum to let everyone live a good life. Every time I go back to the village, the countryside will hold my hand and thank you, saying that I am their great benefactor, and I feel warm in my heart. That night, Anyo and Lalamo, I sat in the pavilion in the garden. The table was filled with barbecue and fruit wine, and the night wind was blowing, which was so comfortable. I put up my glass of wine and said with a smile, "Come on, brother, let's have a drink." After walking this year, I have eaten all the bitterness and sweetness. Now this day is worth it. Anyo smiled foolishly and drank it in one gulp, wiping his mouth and said, "Oda, it's worth it. With you, I dare not think of such a good life. We will do whatever you say in the future." Old Mo also picked up the cup and looked at me and smiled, "Young man, you're doing it well. From a naked egg to the richest man in the country, you're walking beautifully against the road. However, you can handle the miserable things well, and you don't let those forces come in, so you can be considered a good deal. My boss has nothing to say, so I wish you a better way to go in the future." I heard it and felt a little emotion in my heart. I cried out with them, "Thank you, two brothers. Anyo, we have been with it together since the beginning. Without you helping us, how could we be today? Lalamo, you always point out the things I missed and help me hide many pitfalls, and I remember it. In the future, we will continue to work together and keep this garden empire together. Who should not want to take it away? Should you wait? Whoever dares to beat him up, let's beat him." Anyo slapped the table, filling his face with excitement. Lalamo narrowed his eyes with a smile and said, "Okay, I'll be relieved if you are like this. Next, you have to manage it well, and don't just pay attention to making money. You have to think about how to make this place stronger. After all, the mainland is not always peaceful." I clicked my head and had plans in my mind. The garden empire is now stable, but I know that wealth and power will always attract horses. Next, I have to build my own team, train a group of trustworthy people, and maintain this basic foundation. Of course, the power of 11 still needs to be explored, and perhaps even greater surprise is waiting for me. The night is deep, the moonlight is rippling in the fields, and the lights are bright in the villages, and laughter is everywhere. When I watched all this, my heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment. From the broken thatched hut to the richest man in the country today, what have you experienced all the way? The rich people have been under pressure, malpractice crisis, and business turmoil. Which one has never been able to withstand it? Now, this land belongs to mine, this brother belongs to mine, and this good day belongs to mine. Anu, Lalamo, we will have a long road in the future. I stood up, looked at the starry sky far away, and grinned, but no matter what trouble he is, I will take you all the way to the end. The garden empire will never fall. Punish the end. Anyo yelled and smiled foolishly in his wine glass. Lalamo also pointed his head, and his eyes were filled with relief. The three people stood in the pavilion, laughing in the night, never dissipating for a long time. At this moment, I knew that the story of Lin Xiaotian's reversal finally put the most perfect sentence on the painting. But I know that this is not the end, but another broader starting point. In the future, we have to continue to keep going and keep going.